So you might notice I've been doing my lives in a different spot than is like my office. Normally you see my post-it notes and my signs and things like that. But since Lila has been born and coming back to do my lives, um, I've been working primarily from the kitchen table just because Lila's swing is up here, everything I need is up here. When I'm watching, when Charlotte's home, she's at daycare on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Um, I usually just keep it all up here because it's easier when I'm working from home, um, and to keep an eye on Charlotte and Nala. So I'm trying to like find good lighting here with this new setup and just being in the dining room. So hopefully next week I can start going back downstairs. I just don't like lugging the swing downstairs, and it's just annoying. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. So I have some notes over here that I'm gonna go through. So that's why if you see me looking off to the side, I have prepared a little bit of notes just so I could be thorough in my descriptions and terminology for everybody, because that is like a very common question I get. So today's topic for Thrive Over Survive is going to be 3 core systems in your business. So I'm pretty much doing solo episodes in March. We're at the 23rd, so next week I'll also do a solo episode. Sorry, I have my calendar over there I'm looking at. So if you guys are interested in certain topics, like I know these have been more business focused. I mean, last week I did balancing business and motherhood. So really talking about motherhood and business, and how, or no, I did ideal week last week. Sorry, my mom brain is all over the place. But if you have topics that you guys are really want me to cover, or you're like, I would love to hear, how you do this, or you want me to cover, something more in ClickUp, or you want me to do something specific, please DM me or comment on this week's live about a topic you'd like me to cover maybe next week or in the upcoming weeks. I am trying to book more guests for April. The first week of April, we won't have a live. I won't be doing a live because we're going to be out of town, actually. I'm in a mastermind group, so we're doing it live and in-person event. So the first week of April, I'm not going to have an episode, but I am looking to fill some guest spots. So if you want to be on, or if you know someone who has like great topics that they want to talk about and they're trying to share, I would love to do a collaboration in April. One of my guests in April, her name is Tiffany from my other networking group, and she's going to talk about healing from trauma. So it doesn't have to be specifically business related. They can be personal, like topics for people, anything that's going to help people give easy, actionable tips for life or business so that, you're not stuck in your day to day. That's the whole point of this series. But that's kind of, my admin things. If you know somebody who wants to be on or want to be on yourself, DM me. Or if there's a specific topic that you want me to cover, please put it in the comments if you're watching live, or you're watching the replay, or if you don't want to put it on a comment thread, just DM me and I'm happy to take all suggestions. I'm an open book as much as possible. Like I've shared my, survivor story, struggling with domestic violence, things like that. So I'm always willing to pull the curtain back and show you the back end of my business, show you the back end of how I'm managing and juggling things. And if you have questions specific to your business while I'm talking about something on a live, please feel free to put it in the comments. This is like time for me to interact with you guys and give you as much feedback as possible, because I know ops is so customized to your business that it's not a one size fits all. So you might have a specific example that you have a question about. So those are kind of just some announcements. But for today's topic, I'm excited about it because it's the 3 core systems you need in your business. And you're going to probably be surprised at things I talk about in here, because I do define some of these systems a little bit differently than the typical, mundane or business organizations would define them, just because I think in online business it's just a little bit different. So we're going to talk about the 3 systems that you need to support your business, especially from an online perspective. And I'm going to kind of quickly go over the difference between a system, a process, and a procedure, because I do get that question a lot. It's very boring. It is very, but it's crucial for you as you're growing beyond 6 figures. If you're a 6-figure business owner, you're starting to see where processes are going to need to come into play. Most of my VIP Day clients, they love the system setup because it specifically focuses on client deliverables. So making that process streamlined and smooth so that they can take on more clients, or just like have more free time to, you know, spend with their kids or do the admin part or do the marketing of their business. So they're not always, you know, stuck in this I have to serve my client mode. So that's when systems start to become important. But I'm a huge proponent of you should start building out your systems, your processes, and documenting them, even when it's just you, so that when you get that to that point of like overwhelm, it's not going to be so bad. It's going to actually help you. So the definition of a procedure, like everyone's like, what's a procedure? So if you follow me for a while, you might have seen posts for an SOP, which an SOP is a standard operating procedure. So a standard operating procedure is really a good example of, you know, documenting procedures in your business of the how you do it in your business. So that's like the nitty gritty, really detailed SOP of, you know, log into this system. Here's what the login is. This is the step. Who gets the next handoff? That's really nitty gritty on the procedure of the details. And then the process is the kind of like one step back from the procedure. So it's like the what are we doing? So the process is all the steps of like what is happening, not how it's getting done. So the processes and procedures kind of go hand in hand. The procedure just is taking that process a step further and getting really detailed on how do you do it. And that's going to be what's freeing you up into removing yourself from the business. And by looking at those how and the what is where, especially with my clients, we're looking at what can be automated first and foremost before you're delegating it. So then when you have those procedures, you can clearly hand this to someone and say, this is what's happening in the back end with the systems, but then this is where you're taking over and what you're doing, but this is the overall what is happening in this process. And so then taking it step back even further from that is the system. So the system is a set of processes, procedures, and routines that work together to create an outcome. So that's taking the tech, the people, the processes, and making one big system in your business. So the system is what's going to help you achieve your strategy or your goals. So whatever your strategy, whatever your plan is, the system is going to support you. A lot of people talk about systems and it's just your system is the tech in your business, and that's not the case. The system is so much more. The system is the tech, it is the people, and it is the processes / procedures that all come together to make one system in your business. And now that's why I wanted to get into that first before we talk about the 3 core systems, to give you a little bit of a better understanding. So the 3 core systems, especially when you're just starting out, are going to be your marketing system, your sales system, and your operations system, which for operations, people are like really scared of that term. It's very vague for them. I'm not sure why, but most of the time an operations system, especially for online service providers, it's not as concrete because I've worked in product-based businesses before and online prior to being online. So operations for us was way more concrete and a manufacturing company, and that's like the traditional sense of operations is manufacturing, product-based businesses, but there's still operations within an online and a service-based business. And that's going to look like your delivery system. So how are you getting the service or the product to the client? And how are you, so really with the online business, and since I've worked with a lot of business owners this way, it is really the management of your clients. Like, how are you managing them? What's the client experience? What are the actions that you're taking to deliver what you promise? That's really going to be your delivery system of operations. So there's a lot that can go into that system, but the core piece of that you want to focus on, especially if you're a beginning entrepreneur or growing into six figures, is the client journey. Where does the client deliverability, it starts after you convert that sale. So the sales system is going to take them through lead to sale, and then the client management piece is in the client journey, really with delivering, I should say. Sorry, I'm like using a lot of words, but I can see it in my head. So like, you have this client journey all the way from the first point of contact to them signing and working with you. And that client deliverability starts after the sales call, after you convert them to working with you. So what's the onboarding experience? How are you managing them? So a lot of this stuff isn't going to be visible and to the client. It's a lot of internal management of what are you doing, what is your team doing, and you really want to have this honed in, especially before bringing on a team or creating new offers, is knowing how you're at least going to deliver it and provide this value. Because I see a lot of clients that will create offers and then they don't have that experience or management system, at least theorize or like outline. So you really want to have at least some concept. Like, I know a lot of coaches and a lot of people will say, you just, put the offer out there, see if they pre-sell the offer. Like they say, pre-sell the offer. I think, and I talk to my clients about this and help them with this, before you sell an offer, you should at least know what that client deliverability process is going to look like. Even if it's just a process map of what are we going to deliver, how are you going to deliver it. It doesn't have to be all created and like tangible. It can just be a couple of lists and a couple ideas mapped out so we know what's going to go into it, and that's going to help you price your offer, because people will price their offer and not realize how much is going into it work-wise for them or for their team if they have one. So that's really the operation system, and that's my favorite system to like look at and work on with my clients. Oh yeah, girlfriend. This is the fun of a live and the balance of being a mom and doing the live. Yeah, girlfriend. This is why I wrote my notes, because I knew I was going to get distracted. So now I can look back and see where I am. Oh, that was gross. I just got the row off on, but that's okay. So the operation system is after the sales call. So we'll go into the sales system now as the other core piece of what you need for your business, especially when you're just starting out. And the sales system is everything from getting them into your nurture zone, in as a lead. A lot of people will say like your marketing is your lead generation system, but from what I've learned in my business, and I definitely believe this after working with sales coaches and other experts, your sales process is going to be different than your marketing. Sales and marketing are different. So with that being said, your sales system is going to be getting your leads, following up with the leads, and converting the leads. So where are you finding, attracting those leads? How are you doing it? Is it a workshop? Is it a webinar? Is it DMing? Is it referrals? How are you systematizing that? So how are you organizing all those leads, managing the leads to follow up with, and what's the process to convert them? So that's your lead. Like, that's that system, is from as soon as you get them as a lead, they're interested, whether it maybe it's like a lead magnet on your website, a pin to your lead magnet. That's really your marketing, because this gets blurred here a bit, but that's okay. But it's when is that person entering to you as a lead all the way to your sales conversation and converting them as a lead. So what's the process of finding your leads, finding or attracting the leads, following and managing the leads, and then the process to convert them. Once you have that system mapped out and process documented, that's like the core system, which will include, if you're just beginning, it's going to be just you. You don't have any team members, you don't have social sellers, you don't have things like that. Just you, the tech, that's going to help make that easier for you to automate pieces of that. And what does that process look like? And that's going to really align with the strategies that you're putting in place as well. So that's why it's good to have your goals and your strategy planned out. You saw my post last week. A strategy is really just a plan. So what's your plan to get leads? What's your plan to attract them and nurture them? And then what are we going to build out to support that? So it can look like a variety of different things. I see people, managing their leads in their project management tool, or they have a system for a CRM, or you're using an email marketing tool. And then what's the human touch points that are going to happen, and where and what is where is that going to happen in the process, and what is going to be said. So the next one is a marketing system. And to me, this is all about visibility. And marketing is so complex. This is not, I don't get into a lot of details with these systems because I am not what I would qualify as a marketing expert. I have worked with a lot of marketing experts as clients, so I've picked up a thing or two. But you need to have some sort of marketing system in place to get visibility. So marketing is all about being visible. It's about, yes, you can and will attract leads to your business through your marketing, and there's a lot of ways to do that, but it's different. There's different kinds of marketing, and a lot of people just think of social media, but for marketing, you are really just trying to attract people to be in your network, to be in your community, whatever that may look like. And not everyone who's going to be in that community is going to be a lead or a solid lead. So marketing is about giving yourself that visibility and credibility in your business. So what is that going to look like? So it could be website and SEOs. It could be a referral program. It could be, podcast guesting, email marketing, and Facebook advertisements. There's a plethora of systems that you can use to market yourself, and that's where it's going to overlap with the sales, because at some point they're going to enter into your nurture zone where you're marketing yourself and then go through the sales process. So that's kind of how these all fit together, especially as a beginning business owner. You want to market yourself and put yourself out there for visibility, let people know this is what I have, this is what I offer. That could be on a big broad scale like your social media platform, or it could simply be DMing connections, doing a referral program. That's what I did when I started my business. I still do that. That's my main marketing strategies and systems is my social media. Not my social media, my referral program. I do have social media. I have an email list, and I do podcast guesting. Those are my primary marketing pieces, but I really consider for my lead gen is my email list and my referral program are my main lead generating initiatives, systems, where for marketing, the social media is my marketing, is putting myself out there. It's a platform. My website is my virtual space, and the podcast guesting. So I'm getting people in my network from that way. Sometimes they convert to a lead, sometimes they don't. But having a marketing system of what is that going to look like? So what is the strat? First you have to have your strategy, and then you can map out what the system is going to look like, and then the process and procedure. So if you have a marketing strategy on social, what is the system that was going to work for you for planning out your content, scheduling the content after the content's live. How are you repurposing it? That's like one system slash process that needs to be mapped out, because who do you need to execute that? How are you executing it? And like what tools can you use? So like what schedulers, what project management tools, like I use my project management tool to create the content, and me and my assistant work on it that way. We'll review things, then she'll know when it's scheduled or when it needs to be scheduled, and then she'll use my scheduling tool, which I use later, to schedule those pieces of content. And then how the process of repurposing them is, we go back in my ClickUp and find the pieces that are evergreen and not specifically to promo, and we repurpose them. That's kind of like my marketing system for that specific strategy. And then I have a different system for podcast guesting. We use ClickUp again, but this system is not just ClickUp, it's ClickUp, the procedure of how is she pitching me to potential podcast guests, what's the follow-up, it's all of that joined into one is the marketing system. So when you have a system, that's really what I want to get across to anybody watching live or watching the replay, is a system is more than just the tech in your business. It's really the tech, the processes, and the people performing it or performing the process. So it could be you, it could be a team. A lot of six-figure business owners are starting to hire on people on a team. So that's why I want to include that piece as well. But the three core systems that are going to support your business at a higher level is a marketing system, a sales system, and an operations, which is really deliverability. So what are you delivering to your clients, either a service or a product? How are you doing that? So those three systems are going to be made up of, at first, it's probably going to be just you doing everything. And then as you do that, as you do the tasks for the system, you're going to create processes and procedures that you document to create a bigger system of, okay, this is what I'm doing manually. What tech can I utilize to make it easier on myself? Once I do that, what steps does that eliminate for me? What are tasks that I can delegate? That's kind of like the reverse engineering of creating a system. Is you're going to do it manually, probably for a little bit to start. You're going to map out the process and the procedure. And then you'll create the system with the tech and the people underneath as well. And those are really the three systems that I believe are at the core of every business. Now, there are a lot of articles and there are a lot of people that will tell you, there's more systems than that, because there are. But those are the three systems you're going to need to run and grow your business, and then more systems will come into play, like team management systems for once you hire on, like how are you onboarding, all those kind of things. And then financial systems, that's a whole nother topic. I just am not, I have some financial systems in place, but that's really, I would refer back to the conversation I had with Danielle about financial planning and profit first, like those kind of systems. So to manage your money, because that's, once you have a lot of sales, you are going to need a system to do just that. But those are the three core systems that any business is going to use, and they're very similar, either whether it be online or product based. With financial systems and people management systems, it's going to look different based on the industry and based on the type of business that you own. Like a good example of that is I run my own business online. My team, I have contractors on my team. My team is a lot different in how I manage it than my fiance's business, where he has a construction company, and how he manages his team is very different than how I manage mine, just due to the nature of our businesses in the industry. He uses some tech to help him manage it and make it easier, and like I'm able to jump in and help him with that. But how I manage it is very different. And so that's like one good example I can always think of, because they have more of an in-person team where I have more of a remote team. Granted, my assistant is my sister, so she lives 5 minutes down the road, so we can do stuff in person. And my bookkeeper is local, so I have gone to meet her before. But a lot of people that I work with, the team is remote, and you have people halfway across the world. So managing that is going to look a lot different. But yeah, those are the 3 core business systems that you need to really start out in your business and grow your business. And like I said, once you get to a certain point, a lot of those other systems are going to come into play, like financial systems, admin, people management, and then strategic management. Once you get to beyond probably like multi 6 figures is when you're going to really start thinking more strategic management in the bigger goals that you have, and it's going to grow to be that level. Yeah, so if you have questions and you're watching the replay, feel free to drop them below. And if you have any topics you want me to cover, please drop those in the comments below. And if you want to be a guest or know someone who would be a great fit for the interview, DM me or send them my contact information. I'm happy to connect with them. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.